What's up, internets? Welcome to Movie Madness, a podcast on the same stream that you listen to our other shows. This week, this is our first episode.
Great start, baby.
If you watch the premiere episode, you can actually hear how we got here and get an introduction to who we are and our background in film. This week, we're reviewing Promising Young Woman, a 2020 film directed by, I missed the director's name, and starring
Emerald Fennell.
Starring Carey Mulligan and a surprise list of recognizables. Like, I was genuinely like, oh my god, there's a big star-studded cast, so I'm going to steer away from even trying to list
Mr. Krabs is in this movie. It's awesome. I thought that was a little tidbit.
For real. Yeah. So, what we do here is first we like to take a breather in the madness, hence marching into madness, and we want to check out certain films one at a time, join in on this club twice a month, and come back, give our thoughts, and you can watch the film too, and participate in all this madness and slow down and not watch every Marvel film that comes out. So, as you know, we already announced what our movie today is. Raza's picking the next one. I'll use some movie magic to slide that in. And before we give everything away, if you're interested in the idea of participating in this, Panda's going to give a spoiler-free review of the film. Then we're going to cut to an ad. It's totally all spoiled from there. So if you want, you can stop the show there, watch the shits, come back, have fun with us. Movie Magic Bailey here, looking as disheveled as I should, given the conditions. Raza selected his movie. We are watching The Big Sick, a 2017 film directed by Micheal Showalter and starring Kumail Nanjiani. Should be very good. Let's see how Raza's first goes around. Can we trust him? We'll see. Back to it. Now, without me rambling anymore, Panda, do you have some sort of introduction for us?
Okay. Well, I was gonna do something a little different, but
Hey, go ahead. Switch it up. I got movie magic. We don't have to. I can edit this shit up.
all right. So there's some terrible summaries of this movie, so I'm just gonna give the basic one that IMDb has, and we can talk a little bit about the plot before we get to spoilers. So that way, I'm giving a synopsis, but then we also elaborate enough without any twists or key information, if that sounds good. Okay. So the film today is Promising Young Woman, 2020. A young woman traumatized by a tragic event in her past seeks out vengeance against those who crossed her path.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, I told you they're all terrible.
I was like, wow, okay.
I mean, here, just give me one try. You can cut this if it's terrible. A woman pushing 30 is living a double life where a traumatized event from her past has led to going out nightly, or weekly, I should say, to find men that hunt for intoxicated women. That's a little sloppy, but
I think that's a good
that was
outline of the movie without giving too much away about it. So
okay.
I would have been like, here's a plot. That's my summary.
I think also the spoiler-free but cinematography stuff would be like, it's an anti-hero. You're not supposed to love everyone you meet in the movie, so it ends up balancing interestingly.
Yeah, that does get a little spoiler-ish. But even
Fair.
because I wrote down, it's considered a crime, a drama, a mystery, a thriller, and even though I went based off dark comedy, it's not included online anywhere for some reason. But it is. It's a dark comedy for sure.
It is considered where I watch paid movies. It puts it in the category of comedy, and
Right.
all the other ones that Panda live listed.
Listen, I paid for mine, just to clarify.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross has spent $12 to watch this movie.
I
Really?
paid for it though.
Fire. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I like that. So then I'm gonna come in and do my production things. I think that was a good little synopsis. So before we start rambling about what our opinions were, if you're interested in this film, remember this is where you can pause it, go watch it. You already got a billion podcasts. Just after you're done the film, remember to hop back here, and maybe you'll like to hear our opinions on a regular basis.
Also, heavy trigger warning too. By the way.
For
Right.
realsies.
Yeah.
For realsies. Emphasis on the trigger warning and content warning. I was going to bring that up after, but yes, needs to be said now. Thank you, Roz. I appreciate that. You're a hero. I don't have ads for this show on the streaming setup, so who's gonna clap really in a fun pattern to let us know that this is where I make a cut? Yay! Are you listening to the audio version of this? Awesome. Did you hit the download button, though? We need that download button. Maybe a review on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, any of those could help out. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, head over to Spotify, hit that download button. You can take us on the go. If you've watched this film, you don't necessarily need to see the video version. Just hang out with us, tune in. We can be your going to work content. If you'd so trust us, we would like to extend our loving offer of wasting our lives once a week. Appreciate you.
So
Welcome back, everyone.
a fun fact before we get into this movie.
Do it.
Emerald Fennell, the director,
Yeah.
is also an actress. She's been in The Crown, The Danish Girl, among other things. And fun fact, she was actually in Promising Young Woman as the oral expert on YouTube in the film.
Oh, the
Yeah.
I was
The
about to say,
the naughty words. that
the
we
naughty
can't
word
say.
lip girl. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then she just ruins the makeup. She's like, "Oh, we can do that." Yeah.
Welcome back. This is normally where we put in your comments on the film, your opinions as we're posting it to TikTok or the reviews of this episode, wherever, we're on YouTube, all those formats. We'll take them, highlight them here. Now, hopping into the actual individual perspectives. Panda wanted to open up because it was Panda's turn to pick. So fire away, my man.
All right. I guess I should start with we hadn't completely figured out how this podcast was going to go. And when I suggested a comedy horror, you guys were just like, yeah, subgenres, and you suggested one. Let's go with that. And I went through all the comedy horrors that I could think of. There's some good ones that I guarantee that both of you haven't seen, but I feel like this podcast, we're trying to suggest good films overall, and I'm hoping to suggest things that I know that both of you will like, at least from my perspective. And so I wanted to go with a dark thriller comedy mystery. And yeah, so this movie came to mind because it was pretty recent. It has everyone's favorite white boy, Bo Burnham, in it, among a whole cast of small parts like Adam Brody, McLovin, like you said, Mr. Krabs, Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah. I didn't know that till I Googled it. I was like, that lady looks familiar.
Stifler's
Was it?
mom, you know?
Allison
Yeah.
Brie.
Yeah, Allison Brie.
Yeah, she's great in this.
Sam Richardson, who's an underrated actor who's starting to blow up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie when I first saw it, and I know that you guys both have, political talks. And so when I was actually looking up this movie, I found that a lot of people consider it to be the female Joker. And I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of the film and if that holds any weight. And yeah.
Do you wanna start, Bailey? I don't mind. You could taking the reins on.
Okay, I'll take the
I'm just
reins, and that's the way you lead in with the political stuff, and that's like this is an example of a film where the little bit of the wokeness comes in for me because it's like, bro, there needs to be some way that we need to figure out how to do an appropriate content warning that we can all agree on.
Right.
Because I'm not someone who's gone through trauma, and the way the opening scene of the movie, I was like,
oh yeah,
whoo. They did a good
yeah.
job of directing it because it felt so real. I've seen so many drunk university guys. That's how it's gross. It's very gross. And it felt all too real. I was like, okay, this is like, for me, it brought up that woke example of like, yeah, we got to figure out some way that we could be like, okay, heads up. It may make you feel a little funny to watch this movie, right? But from there, my initial perspective of that, I enjoyed that it was a subversion of the traditional like thriller movie where it's like vengeful woman becomes serial killer. It was like a big subversion of that by giving her autonomy and making her an anti-hero and not over sexualizing her at the same time. But it's still a little simple. It was just still like, here, we're going to flip this basic femme serial killer on its head, but like not really expect she still needs to have a attractive boyfriend love interest. She still needs to work at a coffee shop. Like there isn't any expansive character development that could have been awesome. She could have been doing fire shit. Imagine like how many other things she could have been doing in her normal boring life that added to like the Norman Batesiness of her personality, because clearly she was a meticulous planner and it didn't really highlight any of that meticulous planning. And that was what it was like. This is kind of lacking. You're showing that you have this intelligent, deep character, and you're showing like 1% of that. And it adds to the intrigue, but if it's the female Joker, you're not showing what makes her the Joker.
So I have one thing to say is that she is not a killer, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I was
It
thinking.
it
Yeah.
implies, and again, like we can talk about this before the spoiler warning, but she keeps track using 3 different colors in her book, red, blue, and black. And one of them, I believe it's red, with McLovin's character. I'm sorry, I'm not saying his name.
Mm-hmm.
Because his situation was light, all she did was scare him. And then
Yeah.
you jump to Adrian Brody's segment, which was before that, and that was harsher, and she used a different color. But there's one color that we don't see, and we know that Adrian Brody's character, despite whatever level you want to consider his actions, he survived because his friend knew
That's something.
about this crazy girl. But the question is what's that third color mean? Is that like where someone gets completely aggressive?
I think I don't. Didn't she do the red when she saw the lawyer guy? Because like I think red means like somebody who has like redeemed or like has
Mm-hmm.
already punished themselves for what happened. That's what I
Fair,
thought. But
fair.
you could be you could
I did forget about the lawyer part, so you
yeah.
might be onto something.
I don't know.
I did totally miss this. I totally missed this, but
Yeah,
I think Roz is right. I think she like circled the lawyer or did something different for the lawyer.
right. And it throws you off because after Adrian Brody's scene, which again, I know there's no context for anyone who hasn't seen this yet, but she's eating a hot dog and she's got red all over her. And you think, wait, is that blood? Is she walking down the street with blood
Yeah.
on her shirt? But it's just
Yeah.
ketchup from her hot dog. And it shows her um, lack of caring
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
sloppiness, but
Mm-hmm.
she's intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
So she's not a dumb character. Anyways, onward.
That opening sequence was like one of my like favorite opening sequences in like movies. I really like that. I was like, that's very cool how they did that. The editing of that, I was like,
Yeah,
What else wants to know about this?
I gave that warning, but it evoked the emotions well. It was well built. It was very. I agree. I would agree with that.
It's the stakes were pretty good in that movie, and without spoiling it, I think the payoff could have been a little bit more. I feel like it could have been like more weightful to more weight to it, because it did build up to where everything is coming to a point, and then whatever happens happens. But like up until like the climax, I thought like uh, it was hitting all the story beats. The twists were, I was actually saying, "What the fuck? No, that sucks," and stuff like that. But like it's just like it was a good. The narration was told in a very effective way. As like I don't know about you guys, but I felt hella uncomfortable during those those scenes. You know, I was like, I'm gonna fast forward through that. Maybe I should just skip this part. But it did a good job at like showing you the reality of
Mm-hmm.
this this situation and or this topic. But I just felt the ultimate goal could have been a little more like justified, like a little like I feel like more justice could have been done uh, for the characters that you know who I'm talking about. But like what happens, I just felt like the the end goal was like it was there, but like it was just kind of rushed. It was like, okay, let's tie everything up, and then let's end it all on a high note, and then let's finish the movie there. But ultimately, everything leading to that, like her character development, was amazing. Um, I found Bo Burnham kind of cringe. I was like, you're stay in your lane. Maybe you're good as a stand-up, but maybe not actor. It was a lot of stuff he was doing was it felt forced. A lot of like, oh, uh, do you want to go to date, you asshole? I'm just like, oh, just typical Bo Burnham over here. But yeah, that's ultimately a
And
good
he
7 out of 10. Yeah,
7 out of 10. 7 out of
yeah,
10. I'm
yeah,
around there. I'm 7-ish. I would maybe give it a 7.2 or 4, but it's still closer to 7.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
It, I would. I recommend this. I've recommended this movie this weekend to like two other people. So it's like it's definitely a movie you all should watch.
And
Interesting.
like, can I add one more thing from my opinion?
Yeah.
Like, what I thought was interesting was how they didn't sexualize the lead, and not in a super social justicey perspective, but just from filming the scenes and developing the character and giving her that time for the dialogue. It was like very well done in that way, because you're not literally you're not pulling Game of Thrones. You're not leaning on nudity to create the appeal of the film you're making,
Right.
and which is empowering for the humans playing these roles, as well as a very good writing, and that
Yeah.
impressed me.
Yeah. Yeah. I concur. I agree.
Yeah, and the only time she is sexualized is when the character wants herself to be sexualized. And
Hmm.
that's why I like Bo Burnham in this role, because he comes off as that awkward guy who is like loosey goosey with whatever this person he's trying to, you know, become partners with
Hmm.
in a romantic sense. Um, it's a good balance to our main character, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of light in her life. Her parents are trying to kick her out of her house or get her to move out. Um, and she's like the only light in her life before Bo shows up is literally her boss,
Hmm.
you know? And she doesn't even like the job. She's doing it. And see, we talked about this, is that I don't think we've talked about it on stream yet, but you were mentioning how how she works in a coffee
Yeah.
shop, but that is her choice. Like she literally says at one point that it would take her 10 seconds to like have the ideal life. So she's choosing to stay at home. She's choosing to work at a shitty coffee shop because it seems like almost like Batman. It's like not to wrap it all around to Batman, but she
Please do.
has purpose elsewhere in her life. Everything else is just second.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the character of Ryan in like I'm not saying like Ryan isn't the issue here. Ryan is not the issue. It's Bo Burnham. He is he is I think him as acting in this type of role, like sure he could have done a lighter comedy where he's like fucking making like actual jokes and stuff like that, but in this where he's not himself, which is kind of weird. Like I do appreciate when actors go into a different role that's like completely out of their thing and they do it so well, but then when somebody like him does it, it's just like it's weird and off-putting, at least to me. It's like maybe you should try something else before you jump into this. I don't know Bo Burnham's filmography outside of his own stuff. He may have done stuff, but like I just
Did a
feel like
few.
he was sort of like he felt sort of out of place in certain scenes. Like I get the whole balance part, but like it became this like two extremes where he's too happy and she's too sad, right? It became that at some point where like I was like, okay, they're really not really compatible. Well, the movie made them out to be compatible, but it was like they're it's just two different. I guess polar opposites attract, but
Yeah, so
fuck do I know?
how do you relate compatibility? I don't want to try to go off too far on the tangent, but then like what is that? What are you looking for is what I'm trying to ask.
I don't know, like just a lot of, like not being that extreme of her, of being like the extreme opposite of her, where like he's overdoing the like, are you okay? He's trying so hard to be that positive thing. Like if any other actor did it, it would have been more believable. It would have been like, okay, you're gonna actually feel him trying, but it's Bo Burnham doing it. It feels like it's kind of forced, and him being a comedian also. It's like he's literally trying trying to yeah, like a very distant thing from her. Hmm.
But it sounds like you don't like Bo Burnham. So,
No, I do, but his stuff in
I
this
would
movie, it was just like it was weird. It was like this is not.
so
Mm,
again, he seems like such a positive, and even though he's awkward, he's outgoing, right? He's like,
mm,
I'm in this position. I'm not going to get a second chance because we're already having this awkward moment, which
you know,
okay, until the end, until the twist, one of the twists, I relate 100% to this character. Um,
yeah.
like, I'm awkward sometimes, like, because I overthink, and I feel like if I'm in a position, I have to take that leap now, or I'll
Mm.
never have that opportunity again. And again, like, that's the counterbalance to him ending up being a shit person is that he's also very self-aware. So when he gets caught with the fact that he had involvement with the incident, he knows he's fucked because he is self-aware, right? So in that aspect, I think he's a well-written character and he's the right performer for that role because anyone else in that role, I feel like we would have seen the twist coming. And I don't know if you guys had predictions of him being involved with.
He did seem good to be true. That's what I like her second involvement when he went to the apartment scene. Am I allowed to say that now?
Yeah.
Like, okay, when they were walking after their second date, I think, and they went to the apartment. It's like, okay, all right, this feels weird. And then after that, I was kind of like, I was like hoping for him to be good up until like the entire movie. But then at that when uh, when they went to his apartment. I was like, okay, and then she also reacted in a way that I didn't expect her to react at all. I was like, okay, maybe she's feeling something because of the entire context of what she's doing with the other sort of things. Like this
Right.
is what Brian was feeling was a genuine thing, but I guess uh uh she like it felt different to her, and at that point I was just like, okay, maybe there's a little bit that goes on here, but I was still holding my breath, and then all of a sudden, like the twist still hit me hard. I was like, oh my god, like how they did the twist. I thought that was very well done, but I was like, okay, that's cool. But then Bo Burnham, I liked it when he becomes a little bit of like
An
dickish,
asshole. Yeah.
an
Yeah.
asshole. That was like when I
Fucking
okay,
failure.
Yeah. It
yeah,
was
like
so it,
crybaby and something like that.
that
Yeah,
was the same apartment scene. That's when my writer's brain went off immediately. I was like, oh, we're getting some sort of he's getting a good guy scene because he's about to do something shitty's going to happen in relation to him. He's either going to be involved in this somehow, or like it was immediately as soon as I had the apartment scene, it's like, oh, there's something's going to happen.
yeah,
But
and
my quick thing, super quick, is adding to the relatable character development. Bo Burnham was medium on me. Didn't hate him, didn't love him. I thought it was slightly overacted, but him being a doctor, trying to like as a writer, stepping back, right? Like that's a doctor's perspective. He's kind of isolated. He just did fucking 10 years at med school. That was his big crush. He's working the job every day. He's got his 10-hour days at the hospital. So like, it was kind of believable in that way because it's an intelligent guy taking that leap. And I kind of back up what you were saying there, Cody. It kind of fits into that
Right.
story that they developed for the character.
See, and that's how I know it's good writing, because if it's bad writing, then I can predict a whole movie. But when it comes to more, thought out films, I truly struggle with trying to piece things together unless they're laying bricks, which I don't feel they were at all for his character here. Right? It's like so obvious. It's like they went to school together. He knows all the people involved, right? But that scene outside of the building, where he's like, "Do you want to come up and have a drink?"
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I felt like that was more about her, at least the first time watching, because it's her reaction to a completely normal situation, right? Like this is our second date, I believe,
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Oh, look, we're at my apartment. Do you want to come upstairs? It doesn't mean like he's trying to fuck her right away,
yeah.
right?
No, but
It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
come make
Yeah.
out.
yeah,
And then she instantly, as soon as he walks off, not that she is like realizing that he's gone, she kicks over a garbage can to show her rage because she is living this double life so hard that like she is pissed at the idea of even being offered a drink or going to someone's house because she has this toxic point of view of men.
and that was pretty. And then yeah.
What
It's
if it
just
was more
I
simple? What if she was just frustrated? What if she's like, "Oh fuck! Like I wish I didn't have this." Like, what if it
But
was
no,
more
I see
self-reflective?
what you're saying, Panda. I see what you're saying. But like I just like because it's that a reaction that made me feel like maybe she's being like
Over the
she's
top,
that's her defense mechanism automatically coming into gear. And I'm
right?
just like maybe that's the writer's way of telling me that the audience has there's probably a thing, an unspoken thing that she already picked up about Ryan, and that's why that's what I thought it was coming from. And I was like, okay, maybe Ryan, I should be 70% I should like him 70%. Maybe there's something wrong with him, and then
Fair. I mean, see, that's the thing. That might be the one thing I don't like about this movie is that. So I agree with you, and obviously her intuition was correct. Um,
mhm.
I mean, it's debatable because people change and all that, but then we get to see his true colors.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, maybe that's the woke aspect that kind of gets on my nerves, is because she's wary of all men, and then the one that, you know, has the potential to change her mind, to change her life,
Yeah.
ends up being a bad apple.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just and probably the worst, right? Wasn't he like one of the worst ones though? Which is Steve, which
Yeah,
is
like
like
I
he was
I
like
think it was
he was
good.
in the tape.
I think it was a good, realistic, personally, and I don't. I'm not getting at you because I definitely don't think it's a negative perception to have that. It definitely takes away like that fairy tale aspect of it, but I
Right.
think I found it very humanizing. There's a lot of people, without judgment, without me, from my socioeconomic perspective, this guy, this white guy, Jim Brown medical student, that's like a very, for many people, that's like hella relatable. They were at some fucked up frat party, they saw some weird shit, and it was very relatable, so I didn't think it was necessarily bad or detrimental to add that dynamic because I thought it like was something that could naturally happen to someone with that unknowingness of what they were getting into, because
Fair.
everyone made some mistakes. Me and Panda grew up in a wild environment. I seen some shit when I was young, bro. Who knows if we had cell phones back then? People could be pulling it out on us on Twitch right now. Like, it's something that's
Very true.
Yeah. No.
relatable, just in a different context.
Demographic. No, I get it completely, and that's what, like, when I was watching those scenes, to what your point, to other people, like people who were like who have lived this life, they're like, oh, like it's like, oh, I can understand this more, but to me it's a little cringy because I like, not cringy, it's more like I feel weird watching them because like I'm looking at it from the outside in, and I just like, because I can't relate myself that
Right.
a lot to me. So when I see these scenes, like, oh, us guys act like that. Oh no, that sucks. But like in reality, in their world, that is 100% what's going on, right? And I totally get,
Right.
get that, which is why I give this movie a nice fresh 7 out of 10.
Fair.
Yeah.
Actually, so like it's kind of a joke, but not really. But so
Mhm.
like I really like Bo Burnham, and that has nothing to do with, like, I hear all your thoughts. Both
Mhm.
of you made great
Mm-hmm.
points, and I completely agree, and I understand. And I have a weird way of grading movies, so thinking about it now in the context, I might give it like an 8 out of 10, a little bit higher than you guys.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the things that I love, again, I relate to this character to a certain point, but the
I hope to a certain point. Jesus
oh
Christ.
yeah, yeah. I mean, no,
Panda, do not go live right now.
no. But literally, I'm not exaggerating. It has one of my favorite scenes from a movie in the last couple of years, and it's the pharmacy scene when Paris
Yes,
Hilton starts to play,
that's
because
Paris Hilton. Yeah.
I am Bo Burnham in that situation. If I'm with a girl and we're vibing and Paris Hilton comes on, I am going to act like a goof.
Right.
100%.
Maybe this is me and like talking about, oh, white people are cringe as fuck. That scene was just, I just was like, oh my god, these fucking white people dancing off key, off tone, everything in a fucking pharmacy, fucking typical white people shit. So that's where I was laughing at that. I was like, I can see Bailey, people like Bailey or you, Panda, doing
Yo,
this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I
yo.
was like, okay, fucking, let's go, continue on the story. I don't care about this fucking cringe fest you guys going on here. But no, like it's a, yeah, it's a fucking hard movie, hard movie.
Right.
And she's actually a smart character too, because I think she knew what was what she was getting into because of the a literal ending of the movie. But the
Right.
one thing I want to talk about is the lawyer, which you said you forgot. Um, so I'll talk about that some more because it's just like I feel like out of all of her victims per se, he was the only one I think that got like some sort of like, well, not
Redemption.
I think that's
redemption
fair.
because he
I
was
think,
beating
yeah.
himself up over it,
Hmm.
and she literally felt like, oh, I don't need to do anything. You're already fucking taken care of. All right, we're fucking, but just stop crying on me, please. Uh, and shit. But and then the ending scene where he gets the letter. I was thinking, okay, and I was like, oh, okay, so she actually trusts him too enough to do this. So I felt that lawyer was like the, aside from her boss, was like the only two people that actually had like some sort of moral compass after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
I did want to bring this up. So first off, I didn't forget about the lawyer scene in general. It it's Alfred Molina,
My
by the
favorite
way,
character, yeah, I know, Doc Ock.
right?
Thought so.
And
Thought so.
his performance is great.
Mhm.
Maybe it seems a touch like over the top, but in the context, he's literally having like a mental break and realization of the horrible things he's done. So it works. And in that scene, it's like the only time when she seems scared because she's so caught off guard and used to people being
Oh, yeah,
shit,
okay, yeah,
Hmm.
right? And she went in with, again, tying back to how she viewed Bo's character, right? Having foresight for a situation and then having it go completely the opposite way, where
yeah,
he
yeah.
starts approaching her and then she like shrivels up, and that's the only time that we really see her, aside when she's getting
Vulnerable.
strangled,
Yeah,
where
Hmm.
she's weak, in some sort of
yeah,
sense. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. It just, that entire scene was like, okay, it sort of humanized her to me. It was just like,
Hmm.
okay, you can actually see behind, there is human there.
mm,
He's just in front of that iron curtain, which a lawyer has enough power like
Hmm.
to melt. But it's, and I did like, yeah, it just had a whole thing showed like in that whole thing, the whole history of where the story came from. One, like, people suffer
mhm.
in their own way. Nobody else was suffering. I get that, but like this lawyer was literally, you know, beating himself up over this one thing, and like it could have shown me that maybe people can change,
Right.
but it's also a movie, so I don't. I do have hope for that, but ultimately, I think out of this realm, it's just like a different story to me.
Given um he is literally the only character that learns his lesson. Even Allison Brie, her character, yeah, sure, she admits that she did wrong and she gives up the footage of this incident,
Yeah,
which, in my opinion,
because
oh,
she had leverage.
It was still
y-
guilt. It was still done out
Yeah,
of guilt and shame.
yeah.
yeah,
She
and,
got, so she gave it up. You know what I mean?
But she
and
didn't learn a lesson. That's what I think it
no,
is.
yeah, exactly. But the literally how her character exits the film is one more thing, don't ever fucking contact me again. So she's getting that out of the situation as well, because she's
Hmm.
like, I'm done. I don't want to be a part of this situation, even though she is a part of it, because
Yeah,
maybe she's not as bad as Bo's character because she wasn't physically there, but she's one of the people that could have, contested this lawsuit and
yeah, yeah,
saved a woman's life.
yeah. And she's just sorry she got caught. Otherwise, she would have lived her life. Where as a lawyer
Right.
would be like, he's after the fact, he's suffering, still suffering from it. So he's like, he's just like, I will never forgive myself.
Right.
And
Hmm.
that was okay. All right.
And
Maybe you should
even
have some sympathy for him.
he asks her like, "Are you here to hurt me?" And
Yeah.
and it's like one of the few times again where she's not prepared and she's like, "Do you want me to hurt you?" Even though she has a guy standing outside, by the way, that's ready
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Go at it.
fuck him up,
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
Um, he is like, yeah, like because he's self tormenting himself,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
it genuinely like even her parents, because when you guys brought this up of how morals come into play of every single character aside from the coffee shop owner, um, her parents are like not there either. They're in their own world
Yeah.
of like I guess retirement and living this basic ass life, and their entire focus is on their daughter who
Yeah.
is not really doing anything with her life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
living the
so,
Batman life.
Yeah.
so
And like,
stopping there,
and
the Batman life. Can I touch in on something I noticed real quick? Because it will
yeah,
get
yeah,
lost
yeah.
in translation. Like you touched on the
Yeah.
family there.
Mhm.
They had the one scene where Allison Brie walked into the house to look at the furniture, like to go into the living room where she passed the phone over, right?
Right.
They visibly showed Allison Brie like, look at all the shit, like what the fuck is this house? Like
Yeah.
were they trying to
Yeah.
illustrate that they were just super prim and proper white people, or what was weird about it? I couldn't understand what was weird about it. That's what I
I
didn't
think
get.
it was like the old decor she walked into. It was like fucking. This looks like a like a like an old people house.
Okay.
Well, what I took
That's what.
away from it, because we also get the dinner scene with Bo Burnham's character meeting the parents, and everything just seems off. It seems awkward, and possibly I could be wrong, but maybe the statement is that time kind of froze on this family when that
Mm.
family friend died,
Yeah.
or this downfall of right, and that's why the parents are plain as hell. They're selfish, in my opinion. Even though, like, they're nosy, so they're still selfish there. Even if they care about their daughter, they literally give her a fucking travel bag for her birthday as a, you're 30
Yeah.
now, get
Get out.
out.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty. But
Yeah.
like, like, like her dad just like, I think after the dinner with Brian, her dad just like, we've also missed you. So I thought there was some sort of like a rekindling going on there, but I forgot the interview. Of what happens with the parents. Like they do an interview about their daughter, and remember they're like
When
talking
she's
about
missing,
when she's missing. Yeah, and they're like, and it's just like, oh, you don't really. Okay, that to me shows like, oh, they're just not concerned as they should be
right.
about these things. So it's a give and take. I think
Well, in this
for that relationship.
reflection, as you guys are saying this, I'm wondering if it's supposed to show that like the parents are stuck in time, that the parents have these same psychopathic tendencies.
Maybe
Well,
not
well,
that far, but no, go ahead, Rosa, because I'm sure you have a more thought out.
no, I just because everybody's telling her to move on. So
It's true. But
I
that's a
think,
psychopath would also be like, don't care, fucking, they died, fuck it.
oh, I'm a psychopath now, Bailey.
Well,
My dick, Bailey.
that's up
All
for
right, I don't
debate.
care.
That's up
Move
for a
on.
debate. Different podcast.
I don't care. Move on. Move on.
I
So is
say
everybody a psychopath in that story then that says move? Because Nina's mom literally says, like she goes to Nina and Nina is like, "Why are you here?" And it's
But
like,
Nina's mom expresses the emotion. Nina's mom expresses it from an
"You're right.
empathetic
Yeah,
point of
there
view
is
about
that
its other care.
emotion."
one more
Yeah. Mr.
character that's
Krabs.
redeemable.
Yeah.
Nina's mom, yeah. So,
Yeah.
did
Which I
Nina
forgot.
unalive herself? That's what I was missing as
Yes.
Yeah,
well.
that's
Okay.
basically it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I
It's
thought.
never said, but it's
It's,
heavily
it's
implied.
implied. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Because like
figured.
they do talk about how like her mental health declined, and I think she wasn't eating. They mentioned something like that.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
I gathered
Okay.
as well. I
I
gathered.
didn't catch
Okay.
that, but yeah, I didn't. I knew that. I don't. He. Yeah, that what Bailey said. She did that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, check in on the homies. Check in on the homies. Bring it up,
But-
Panda. Get us out of the dump. Get us out of the dump.
Okay.
Well, the
Yeah.
dancing in the pharmacy scene, I can also, if you want me to flip it back, I could totally see. I see that as you. I was watching the pharmacy scene. I was like, Panda's gonna be like, yeah, this is me. I could see
That
this.
was both of you. I saw both of you in that scene.
You're racist, Raza. You just see a white face and you're like, they would dance like that. Like,
I would see Bailey just singing along.
This
to
is
the
just
Paris
us in his head,
Hilton.
Panda. Just in his head. We're just doing awkward dances in his fucking
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all. No matter how cringe you are, just live your life, yo. Live your life.
live in the moment.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Eat all the mayo you want. Just don't worry about what I say.
You fucking dorks.
But
And
that ending.
I was good. I'm on the same
we haven't
wavelength. Go
fucking-
there. That's where I was.
Do you
gonna
want to
go,
talk about
so-
that now?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
So
where I
the
was gonna
ending
go.
was like Panda sort of tease it a little bit, but the ending I was totally off guard. I didn't expect that ending at all. So I was like, I'm sad now.
So first off, I love the use of that Toxic cover, which was made specifically for this movie, the Britney Spears cover, which actually the Britney Spears song is sampled by a Bollywood movie. So I was even thinking about that when I was watching because it was interesting.
Think about
To...
me, Panda?
No. No, I'm thinking about Bailey because he lives in an area where he probably eats curry every night, you know?
Yo.
Oh,
yeah,
God. That's good.
So yeah, it was interesting to in my head because that's how I think about things is like that song was from a Bollywood movie and then Britney Spears in the 2000s was like I'm going to sample this or whoever creates her songs and does like producing. And then to have that go into classical music which you know, it gets used in trailers a lot and luckily they use this for the trailer, but it's actually part of the film because like it or not, the main character is toxic and she's going after toxicity as well. And that kind of all wraps around to the hot dog scene that I was talking about. You know, she's walking around, you see red on her, so you think violence, but it's her willingly being messy. And that kind of sums up the ending where she's satisfied by eating her hot dog or getting to eat her cake, getting her cake and eating it too, because the outcome, even if she didn't hope for her, she didn't want to die, I assume, because she struggled pretty hard.
Yeah.
But she was prepared for it, you know?
Yeah.
She knew her location and she let the lawyer know. She left the phone with him. She left her half of the necklace with the coffee shop owner.
Yeah.
And was wearing her bestie's
Bracelet or something.
No, it was a heart necklace that
Yeah.
was broken, right?
Yeah.
Which helped find her body, by the way.
Mhm.
Without that, because like you can assume what happens after the movie, but that's going to be a crucial part in that lawsuit. Or
It's gonna be the
And
sequel is gonna be
Raza, do you know
a
what?
Suits move, a long form Suits movie.
Do you know why she was satisfied with the outcome either way? You know what was had either way? Do you know what was had? Whether it's a spilly hot dog or someone's going to prison? What you don't
is
know?
it?
Justice! Justice!
It's vengeance.
Justice!
It's vengeance. Do it again. No, but I just wanna. You brought up the in a sense as important, but like in the intro after she does her business with Adrian Brody, is that his name?
Yeah.
The construction guy's catcaller, which is to me it's funny as fuck because it's in the morning. Uh, they should be working, and then I was laughing at the part that she stopped and then started staring at them, and then continuously staring at them. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny actually. And she just ate her hot dog, kept on staring at them, and I thought that kind of to me that's set the bar for the humor
Right.
Yeah.
for me, and that was like the dry sense of humor she had was like
Right.
I really like that. Like that's like she's capable.
Yeah, I
capable
see. I
of
see
doing
what you're
that.
saying there. I don't know what you're implying about construction workers not working in the morning. Because as a construction worker in the
Oh,
past,
these ones were just straight up fucking not doing anything. All right,
yeah, yeah, and they're getting paid. That's
construction
how
workers. Yeah,
construction
Yeah,
goes.
that's how it works. That's the job,
but
Raza.
but no, but I did like how that scene sort of like set the humor
Right.
for me. It was just like, okay, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be very dry, very sarcastic.
Mhm.
I'm in, and that's what it was. And then Bo Burnham, his comedic style works with that,
Right.
but it's still
I mean,
fucking
there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek comedy in this film,
yeah.
without Bo
Yeah.
even, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like even like they've got one-liners in a very serious situation. McLovin, I apologize. I'm
I never
never
know
can
his name
remember,
either.
right?
Yeah.
So after that incident, he's all coked up and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna write a novel about men in society these days and how they view love," and then
Yeah.
he tries to make a move on her, but he is semi-respectful, even though he's doing
He yells at
terribly
her.
gross things. Yeah, and he sticks his hand up her skirt. Um,
Yeah.
he did make sure she was awake, and then when she confronts him, scares the shit out of him. She's leaving, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, your novel sounds like shit." Like that's a one-liner
Yeah.
Hmm.
in a very fucked up situation where it's like she's being funny because she has the upper hand. And those moments, whenever she has the upper hand and makes someone stumble, like the dean, we didn't even touch on the dean.
I forgot about the dean
Yeah.
completely. Oh my god. Yeah. Shit. I forgot about her.
The Dean, I
Didn't
didn't think
okay.
was
The
done good
one thing
enough.
I
The
took.
Dean was like, it was so quick, it was so small. I would have liked to see the Dean be guilty, but then at the same time, you would have been featuring her shaming another woman for too long when it's supposed to shame more people like McLovin. So it's like a weird, you've got a big give and take of
But
like,
then look what she's doing to Alison Brie's character.
And
She gets her drunk, and then shames her.
and the dean's daughter, she's like,
Yeah.
she's pretty, but she ain't too
Yeah.
smart, is she?
Yeah.
She
The
did get into
band,
a stranger's car.
right? And the band's name, by the way, I made a note of this. The band's name,
Mhm.
funny. I'm not sure if I'm fuck. I don't care. It's Wet Dream. That's the band's name. I was that to me was probably a fucking like a joke right there, and
Oh,
I'd laugh.
absolutely.
But if it wasn't, fucking talk about lack of self awareness. But I I enjoyed that entire like how she picks up her like the kid because she's just doing everything based on the fact that this band is existing. And then yeah, it goes back to like yeah, your daughter was not that hard to to get. So I don't maybe she's going. It's just
Right.
I gotta process this movie still. Fuck.
yeah. You're still ruminating. You still don't know how to feel about it.
I mean, I do feel how I feel about it, but it's just it's like an interesting sort of like at least for us to look into a problem that our gender is primarily talked about in this movie. So it's interesting seeing from that perspective,
Right.
and it's just
Well,
like it's
so-
like from sorry.
So on that point, that was something I was thinking about often watching it. Is I feel like this, man, this could come off so douchey.
Oh,
So I feel like the three of us are at least socially aware, so we're watching it from an objective perspective, as
absolutely.
men, aware we're watching it as men. I feel like the people who are men who need to heed the lessons in this movie are just totally gonna in one out the other. Like, oh wow, that
Yeah.
McLovin guy sure was fucked up.
Bo
Like,
Burnham's doing this. Let's fucking go.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking that as watching it. I
Yeah.
was like, the people that should be listening to this, though, probably ain't listening to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's the toxic trait in me because I'm like, I love Bo Burnham. I'm awkward. Oh my god, he's singing Paris Hilton. Uh, I relate to this guy, and then it's like
Mm.
shattered
Oh,
when
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad, you know, that didn't happen to me because it a lot of the stuff was like, okay, this happens. Fucking yeah, but as Bailey said, the people that it's supposed to hit aren't gonna be hit with it because it's like they're seeing it for yeah. When I saw it, when you recommended this to me, Panda, I was like, oh, Bo Burnham's in it. Let's
right.
okay, fucking, I'm on board immediately. And now it's now the opposite. I enjoyed the movie not for Bo Burnham, but for like the messaging behind it. But yeah, it's just but the thing about this, Bailey, you and I give this movie a 7 out of 10, right? But it's like critically acclaimed, and people are
I
like,
see
this needs to be, people. This movie needs to happen. Like people need to talk about this stuff, and more of these movies need to happen, which is great.
Yeah, that's why I'm
The-
trying to be
yeah.
careful, because I'm with that. I'm not totally being like this shit. It's like either way, still a step that way, so I'm trying not to, like, put it down in any manner in that degree.
It
Yeah, of
it
course
made
not.
the topic more like approachable, I think. It made it like, oh, it's not like something it gets super dark. It's not super dark, but like it's serious enough to like to try to teach you or try to show you that world.
That was an aspect I really loved about this movie is that her her motive is really just making people acknowledge facts,
Mhm.
right? Acknowledge what they're doing currently, acknowledge beliefs that they defend, acknowledge, uh, stuff that people have tried to put behind themselves. And
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, I feel
Essentially, she doesn't want people to like burn on the cross for what they did. She wants them to acknowledge what they did, understand what they did, and actually like repent for what they did. Don't become a Buddhist
right,
overnight because of you're so sorry, right? You need
right.
to like. She wants them to feel guilt. She wants them to feel that way.
And it's
And
an interesting concept there too, because again, we don't know what she did to Adrian Brody's character, but it seems like every character that we see that she has intentions of like physically hurting.
Mhm.
One is the lawyer, and he does something unexpected, where he acknowledges his wrongs, and then there's no use for violence, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then jump ahead to the end where she's like, I'm going to pull out some medical tools, which we don't know if she had done in the past, but I assume
Maybe it's for the bit,
possibly. Or there's some
but
sort
she
of
was, yeah, yeah,
philosophy there of like, violence isn't the answer because you might be wrong, or you might be the one who gets brutally fucking suffocated by a pillow.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's like, oh, and did Ryan know? By the way, this is what I want to talk about. Did Ryan know her mission? Did Was he in the dark
He was,
of this?
yeah, he was in the dark.
Yeah, I think he was in the
Okay,
dark.
because that would have been a lot worse if he knew and he just played along about that. That would have been a lot worse. But okay, I was sort of like that
Like, they
scene though
never.
when she like shows him. I was like, hmm. Now we're gonna
They
see
didn't
because
even
like
imply that they talked about it at all. They didn't even imply that they talked about seeing her at the bar. Like that, she was just like, "Oh yeah, whatever. Let's move on from it."
Yeah, when she shows up to save her relationship because she realizes there's something good there, um, she lays herself on the table. Maybe not herself. She lays her cards on the table. That sounded pretty
yeah,
wrong. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she's just like, I care about you. I want this to continue. What you saw
Mhm.
last night, let's forget about that.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Instead of being
Okay.
like, was that you in your bat costume? But
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, that entire interaction where he meets her, like at like doing her whole Batman stuff, uh, it just it just brushes away completely effort. Like there, like he's like, oh, she like the guy says, oh, she's yours, and Bo Burnham's like, oh, she's mine. He walks into the bar and then she just carries away, acts sober again. I'm just like, there should have been. I feel like
More time here.
this scene should have been like a little bit more explosive. I feel like one of them should have been
That's
like
fair.
yelling at the other because there is that sort of unspoken relationship at that point.
well,
Because
that's the
they're
thing. To go back to his character, he seems like a very mellow dude, and I've seen
okay.
a lot of female filmmakers and film writers talk about female rage and how it's been depicted in film,
Right.
and because sure, there's going to be women out there that will freak out worse than a man will on you, but there's also a lot of women that stay very calm,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
it's all internal, and that's how I feel her character is depicted.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's fair because like
valid. That's
when I saw it, I was just like her reaction to it seemed like very like, oh, okay. I because at that point I thought that's it, they're done because she
Right.
didn't have any investment to like try to further stop him, right? Because she was like, oh, this is not what it looks like. It's like, okay, walks in. It's like, okay, uh, I guess I did all I could do, and then
yeah.
that's what I felt. But no, but like you make a very valid point about how it's like, like it feels like it. She does it in a different way than what
Right.
I would assume.
And leading into that scene too, they had a date that night, which is why he shows up to that bar at all, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she flat out to his face cancels plans and then goes out to do that, which shows that she's toxic herself and has
yeah.
this addiction and
Mhm.
like an anger inside of her. And with his character, him being so forgiving might be some insight into himself, realizing that everyone has done something wrong, and
Hmm.
sometimes, he wants to forget his past because we're all
Yeah,
young and dumb, which
yeah, and that's
mirrors.
the one thing.
And like I
What
think
like
that's his perspective. He's just taking it as, oh, she just wanted a fedora one night stand. You know what I mean? He's not thinking any
yeah,
further.
Right.
yeah. Because okay, yeah, that it does make sense. Because like I think that might have slipped my mind. Because like when I was watching, I was like, does he know about any of this? But then that now I remember that entire scene where it's like she's sort of like going no lies no more,
Yeah,
kind of, yeah,
kind of, kind of.
kind of,
Except for
kind
my
of,
alter egos. Except for when I
yeah.
put on my bat suit.
I'm Bruce Wayne, by the way, guys.
Okay, I'm gonna set myself back as far as a man
Mm-hmm.
saying this,
Don't
but
worry. Yeah.
that nurse outfit, oh my god.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's just a thing for me, but I can see Bailey staring into my soul right now. Like,
No,
It
Bailey,
was
Bailey,
okay. It was
don't.
just weird. It's like I very clearly knew she was going to die in this scene, so my brain just
oh,
like put up
Oh,
a
really?
wall.
I
Yeah,
thought she was
bro.
gonna kill the guy in that room.
Something was
I
gonna
thought,
happen. I was like,
I
I'm
thought she
not
was gonna
going
come out all
to.
bloodied. because she cooked his neck and then all bloody and a
Because
Kill Bill
because
moment
they
would have
waited to
happened.
sexualize her until the end. That's because they were finally sexualizing her. So it's like, oh, she's something's gonna go left. I thought she might like get seriously fucking injured or die. Is what I
I mean,
thought.
it opens with her being very drunk in that bar, and like she like spreads her legs open.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess true. That's true. That's a valid critique. That's a valid critique.
But
That's a
yeah,
valid critique.
going back to the final section. Technically, it's chapter 4. We didn't talk about how this movie is in chapters, 5
Yes, I
chapters,
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, the
I did
chapters
like
were
that a lot.
nice.
Yeah.
right? So in chapter 4, when she shows up to the bachelor party, you bring up a good point because she does hide the keys like
Mm-hmm.
under the tire. I should know the name, but she also
Tire
gets
well.
rid of, yeah, right, and she gets rid of the license plates. Like she literally throws them into the forest, which could also be her foreseeing something bad happening
I'm
to
just
her.
dumb. I didn't pick up any of those. I'm just a dumbass for I wasn't watching this movie. That didn't,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's doing that. That's dumb me.
This is what you do when you visit your friend's cottage. You just take off the plates, throw them in the bush, fucking throw
I
your
was like,
keys in the
okay,
wheel
this is some fucking weird shit.
well.
Okay, fine. I'm on board. Fucking no, let's go.
Fucking white people, am I right?
Taking off license plate. Okay, that's what they do.
They've
That's a
got
cultural thing.
plenty of money to replace them. They're like tissues.
No, that yeah. I'm sorry, but that's what because I was just like, wait, those are moments that I had to click for me. I just thought, okay, she's just doing shit.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Panda.
Panda.
Continue.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I could see like, obviously she had everything in place to make sure if she went missing that the truth would come to light. So putting that together now, with the license plates,
Mm-hmm.
even wearing her necklace, I mean, that's these dude bros being dumb and not like stripping her of anything that wouldn't burn.
Well, yeah. Yeah, 'cause
Um,
it's like you want to get rid
Because
of the
she
body
knew
as
they were that
quick as
dumb because
possible.
she's Batman.
Yeah.
right. And she used her bat milk to make
Yeah.
sure that all the other dude bros would pass out.
Yeah,
That oh my god, that scene! I was like, what? I was granted I was stoned when watching it, but I was laughing my ass off at that scene. I was like, this is phenomenal. This
Yeah,
is
no, I did. I liked the dommy nature of it and the how
oh no,
bored she
not me.
was.
That's what I
I
okay, yeah,
thought
but
it was like first of all, there's probably some communities clipping this on Reddit right now, but the way she's
oh
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
just fucking open your mouth. It was like this is hilarious. I like this from the character's perspective. Like she hates this part. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I was blown
editing
away.
the editing in that scene is crazy too, where there's a lot of close-ups of like her with her wig and makeup all done and all the guys' mouths, and then it's cutting to like one of the guys' chests, and then it shows her unzipping a little bit, and then you got the sex doll mouth. Someone's like sticking their fingers in there, and then you get a little bit of like fabric with some man's hand grabbing themselves and
Yeah, there was a
not in
lot
this.
of that. There was a
Yeah.
lot of that going on. It just, yeah, it's just that entire final part was like a totally a misdirect for me, a complete misdirect. Because I thought it was gonna be like a normal thing. She was gonna go in, do her business, and then get the guy to admit or fucking maybe hurt the guy and then and it didn't burn the house down or some shit. But I but yeah, that ending just like okay. She as Bailey pointed out, we were talking about this last week. We're like okay, she became a martyr at, at,
hmm
at the end ultimately.
She
For
decided to
her
be a
friend.
martyr. Yeah,
Yeah,
for her friend
yeah,
or the
for her
cause
friend.
or vengeance. But either way, she
There you
was
go.
she was okay. She was so entwined with her philosophy. She was okay with being the martyr for the cause, being the one who dies and then sends the text after she's dead.
I
Yeah.
did I did think about that quite a bit because with how far she let men go to prove a point, Adrian Brody literally gets her underwear almost completely off and even
Yeah.
gets a look by the end of the film. Where was I going with this? Oh no. It's how far she's willing to
Yeah,
let others go with herself,
Right.
putting herself at risk, right?
mhm,
Knowing
Yeah.
full, and like again, that goes back to the lawyer. The fact that he is bigger than her and that he's completely open and owns every bad thing he's done, she suddenly feels weak. And then at the end of the film, she takes care of business, makes sure all the men are knocked out because she drugged them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she strips down, which pun intended slightly, but not really, because she's dressed as a stripper, but she lays it all out on the line by revealing who she is to this
Al Monroe.
right, the bachelor,
mhm.
or not bachelor.
Bachelor. He's a bachelor. It's a bachelor's party.
Right, but
Yeah.
aren't his friends the bachelors? As where he is, oh, maybe,
No, it's a
He's the
bachelor
one.
party because he's still a bachelor until he's
Bachelor.
married because it's a
right.
masculine
Right.
society and we're only
Ask the
committed
bachelor.
unless there's a ring.
Ask
So,
the bachelor party connoisseur over here. He fucking
oh
will
boy.
tell you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bud.
So she reveals her entire um, existence as this persona that she has to the groom,
Hmm.
and in that maybe there's some weakness because at that point she's ready to go all the way by harming someone. I don't think she was going to murder him, but she was going to
hmm
scar him horribly, and then yeah, then you get what some men would argue is that men are stronger, right? So this
Yeah.
guy literally rips out of his handcuffs and then smothers her to death. And
Yeah.
he doesn't stop because that's the male rage,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
It is even at the point where she is unarmed. Like
Uh-oh.
sure he's still handcuffed to the bed,
Uh-oh.
but
Yeah.
anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is that
Yeah.
um, there's hints in there of the writing to show when she's in control, when she's not, even when she's in control, but she exposes her cards.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But
Yeah.
I feel like, as you said, everything was according to plan. So maybe she was meant to expose them
Fair.
early. But I don't know.
I thought the way it was filmed, and oh my god, just to make sure I'm still above board, I have to communicate carefully. But I thought the way
Here we go.
that the scene was filmed between him and her as she was becoming unalived,
Mhm.
I don't want to give either party credit through the scene, but I thought actually a little different. I didn't think it was rage filled. I thought in the same gross toxic feeling they were giving you the whole film, they were giving you that same weird gross helplessness that he was feeling.
Oh,
That in
absolutely.
his mind, like, he didn't seem rage filled because in his mind he was just doing what he had to do, which is ultimately gross and bad.
Right.
But I thought it did a very good job doing that, which was weird and gross, and that's why the film still gets a 7 in my mind. It was still good that
Right.
way, but it was like
Well,
weird and gross that way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree, but also even like you could argue that he was doing it for survival, even though he went way past what he should have, but he still had the information that there was a video out there of his
Mm-hmm.
terrible actions from before, which maybe not, maybe rage is the wrong word to use, but I think the whole movie shows that there's darkness in everyone,
Hmm.
and he took it too far.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
yeah, because like I feel like at that point you're not really thinking. You're gonna be trying to get out of that. He when you're an animal in a cage, which is essentially what he was.
Mhm.
You're gonna try to get your way out of that, and it's by any means necessary. And doing what he did was the only way. And you don't think about anything else, right?
Right. But
Ultimately.
okay, mirroring that, see, I
Mhm.
was I was thinking to myself, and he's drunk, right? Because it's his bachelor party, and she was feeding him alcohol and all that. Um, but alcohol doesn't excuse,
Hmm.
which goes back to the whole meaning of the movie.
Hmm.
Is if you're intoxicated, sure, it doesn't help with your actions, but morally,
Because I believe that shit. Because I believe that shit wholeheartedly, bro. Personally, is like that's the thing. There's a line. There's a switch in people, and that's why I think it's ultimately that gross commentary on toxic masculinity. Because ultimately, if you're still the one, if you're still gonna keep your knee there, like that wasn't. It still illustrated. He still did it with intent, even if he was panicking. If that. If you're still gonna kill someone, you're still gonna kill someone, and that's where the Batman shit comes in. And I'm kind of with it. And that's my personal morals, and that's very biased and subjective
Yeah,
and not
but
objective.
Batman doesn't kill.
Well, clearly, this Batman does. This
All
Batman
right.
who sexes, the Batman who sexes.
Okay.
she did
All
not
right.
kill
All
anyone.
right.
She did not kill a single person. Let me
None,
just
really.
remind
I
you.
thought it was
None.
implying that someone might have died. It was all just like moral retribution. That's even more engaging, though.
Well,
Yeah,
that
yeah, I don't think he because she just scares them. That's what she does. She scared McLovin.
mhm.
She scared the dude who tried to pick her up. Bro, right? She just
Oh, you're
scares
talking about Richardson. I always forget his first name.
Sam Richardson.
Right.
Paul.
Hmm.
Yeah, him. Yeah, she just scares
Yeah, Fedora dude.
Fedora wearing guy. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
do you want to come back to my parents' house? I want you to be quiet. I was
right.
like, that's is that a dig at me? That doesn't happen.
That's the relatable part for Raza there. It's like it's not a white guy. He's wearing a fedora and he lives with his parents. That's me.
Yeah, no, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get that though. I need to get a
So that guy
fedora to have
was
the
his
setup.
Batman. So that was Rosa's like, oh yeah, that's me at night. Okay, I
That's
get this. I
that's
get
my
this.
vengeance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he only gets like 2 scenes though. That's
It
it.
also makes sense for your life, bro. You're the side character in your own
He
movie. It's
was
okay.
yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah, absolutely.
I do love that brief little conversation that they have because he's like, "Oh, you're that psycho bitch, right? Stay
Hmm.
away
Yeah.
from me." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, you don't want any of this anymore?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, you women are always trying to do this, ruin a good thing." And she's like, "Hey, when's the last time you got some booty in the daytime?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I was like, that's cold the entire
Right.
time. That entire scene, again, it was like after, what happened with Ryan, I thought it was sort of like she was getting more and more like I don't know, she was getting more and more like she wants to get it done. Like she's getting more and more aggressive with this stuff. Like she's going more and more like how Robert Pattinson went in the Batman, like more and more like obsessed
You're right.
with this entire concept.
Exactly.
Is that
Exactly.
like I saw it was taking a toll on her, and that's what sort of like the payoff was that. So.
And that's where the Batman comparison comes from.
And it
That's
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
Yep, I like it. I like it. So, how do you
Yeah.
gentlemen feel? Since we are having a natural lull here, we'll do our magic clapping to pretend there's an ad break, and then we'll do our buy it, rent it, skip it. to summarize. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? All right,
Okay.
Sounds good.
give me a clap, browser. Give me a clap. Give me a clap. First time here, not sure what we do. It's okay, hence the name. It's Marching into Madness. It gets a little hectic. We're developing a whole network of content. So if you're watching us on Twitch, we're also on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we're also on Spotify. Watching on Spotify, we're also on TikTok, where on each of these platforms, you'll be able to get a variety of content. You like video games? Tune in with us as we have a relaxing time. You want to hear about some news? We got that too. Same podcast feed, same-ish, different day. Well, you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So why not jump in a little deeper? We'll see you there at the depths of the ocean. So ultimately, now that we rambled for a bit, whether you stopped at the beginning when to watch the movie and came back, or you've already seen it, or you're watching this live, which if you're listening to the recorded version, you should watch this live. We want to summarize, should you buy it, rent it, and or skip it? Now, we've all been pretty blatant about our feelings. Does anyone want to go first, or should I?
You go first.
I would say rent it, and again, just LOL, add the big CW concerns. You know, rent it. It's a good movie, but you know, if you have some personal trauma involving very specific types of abuse or going out, please be very careful and apply with patience. Also, I thought if you want to be a film geek and you're seeking out how to play like a character, like a lead role that the you're not supposed to like, I think that would be a very good sample. I thought she did do a very good job of like playing her
fantastic.
nonchalant character.
Yeah. I think everybody did super well in that.
Yeah, so an added rented if you're looking for that like character acting, I would say rented for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I went out and specifically bought the movie for this. I am a physical collector. So any physical collectors out there, I presume that you've seen this movie already. So if you like it, buy it, obviously. It's rated R. In Canada, it's 14A.
Oh,
Because,
really?
there's no nudity, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Lots
Really?
of swearing, a good amount of swearing,
There's no
and
violence, right?
minimal violence until the very
Yeah, you're
end.
right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Where's
Yeah.
a fucking second about
Oh,
that? Where's my brain at?
one of my favorite shots, by the way, is her hand at the end when they're burning her body, and she's
Oh
got
yeah,
all the colorful fingernails, and then he just kicks the hand into the fire. Love that
yeah.
shot. But yeah, it's too late for me to say this because if you've listened this far, for those who have trigger warnings, um, or who wish to be aware of trigger warnings, go to that website or check IMDb, because there's quite a list from mental illness to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I approve. Buy it, rent it, watch it.
Yeah. I'm at least I want to say rent it because it's like it's a movie that's like on your first watch, if you're paying attention, which I wasn't, you're gonna be able to follow and get all the meat of the story. And like it's a good. I think it's a movie that should be watched at least once by people who are like us in our demographic. It's a very like timely movie. I think it's like for a wide swath of demographics. So like rent it if it's on Netflix, definitely watch it. Uh Stream it uh if it's, a movie that you wanna watch it over and over again. But I think I rent it because it's like a good inside view of like a specific trauma. It helps you sort of understand it.
Right. And then again, it's funny in a very dark way, and it's got that femme fatale vibe
Yeah.
where a female spider going after
Yes.
disgusting men.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, yeah. It's like revenge prawn to a degree.
Well, I
That's what
mean,
like
I
it,
don't
it,
know. That's a weird comparison.
it was coming up on lunch when I went online. They were like, "Yeah, this movie is in that realm." So this is what they're saying. This is not what I'm saying. And
Wait,
shit.
hold on. The movie is literally about that. That video.
Yeah, that's what the video is. The video, the topic
Yeah.
is revenge that, and then
Yeah.
so you're saying it's the same thing. You're saying it's just as bad as the thing it's making a
Jesus.
commentary about.
That's hilarious.
No, it's like in that category of like genre, like how
like Old Boy.
of
I don't
like
know
how
if you've seen Old Boy.
it's being told like I guess Old Boy, but like toned down a lot.
Yeah, it's more
You know how
subtle.
it's more like not in your face on revenge.
That's
I mean, it's pretty clear from the beginning that she's on a mission.
Yeah, but
yeah.
people don't get hit with hammers, right? In this one.
Only pillows. Pillows are a lot
Only
softer.
pillows, yeah. And at the end, there isn't like a like 20 fight sequences in this movie. It's a lot more artsy with that,
Right.
and it actually tells people to think more.
Fair enough. Good save. Good save. I think you rewinded it well. So, our last section of this movie madness, I'm gonna do some editing magic. So we'll tap in on what Raza wants you guys to watch for next week, or if not, just tune in next episode, find out, take the pause, watch the film. Second take. If you've watched this far, you're liking what you're watching. We're watching The Big Sick for February 6th, starring Kumail Nanjiani. And the director is Micheal Showalter. Check it out. Tune in live. Watch the recorded version. Is gonna be here wherever you're watching or listening. Is gonna be here. Raza, I got a big question for you today. Was Tom Cruise in this movie?
I think he was. I think he was one of the cops running at the end towards Al Monroe.
I do
No,
like
he's
that.
definitely in a different bar
Yeah,
than she is.
yeah. He was one of the
Oh.
extras in the bar. Yeah, he was
And
the
you can't
bar
see him
extra.
because he's so short.
Bar.
This isn't a Tom Cruise movie where he's on those steps and the camera's angled purposely. This is not one of his. He's an extra here.
Sorry, Tom, this doesn't work. The female character demands heels. You're not going to be able to
He's
match
like,
her. Right?
I was in Top Gun. That's funny.
All right,
It's a
everybody.
it's a realistic cocktail too, where he's standing behind the bar and you just can't see him.
You just can't see him. He's like, you see a hand going back and forth.
I never did see Cocktail. That's one to put on the list. That's a good one. So, anybody, Panda, you're new here. Everybody else, they've heard us jibber jabber for a while. Panda, do you have anything to say? You want to say anything to the crowd before I just rant about what links you can find us at?
Okay, by the time this video is put out on YouTube, I will have a link tree, and I'll make sure that is in the description. Yeah.
And
Go follow me.
watch lots of movies. Get a
Yes.
collection as big as his. Buy lots of memorabilia.
No, don't waste your money, kids. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop buying Gundam.
Yeah, just
Don't-
listen to us. Don't buy any of the shit. Just listen to us. Yeah.
Listen to us. Yeah. This is. If you haven't been doing that, then oh boy, oh boy.
Okay. All right. So you know what it is. We got Movie Madness. You're listening to this on the same different day feed. If you're not listening to that, then what you do, you go over there, and this is you can hang out with me and Raza. It's more of a traditional podcast. We also like to touch base on the news, just like we do here. We like to have some fun as well as just jibber jabber about some bullshit. We're on the TikToks. Raza's helping us do that every day. We've got 2 YouTube channels, 3 technically. On top of that, you can catch us on IG, and we have a Patreon that I need to fix up, but I've been a little lazy with. Overall, what we need you to do, go to Spotify, hit that download button. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
This